my monthly favourites, although I am starting to wonder if I should call it monthly favourites, because I feel sometimes there are things I've used throughout the month that I want to tell you about, but they're not necessarily a favourite. It's like something I've been trying throughout the month and then I've thought, I don't really like this, or this isn't what I expected it to be, type of thing. I don't want to just say it's a favourite because it might not be. So I think we'll keep calling it monthly favourites, or, you know, May favourite, June favourite, July favourite, whatever it's going to be, the month and then favourites. But I would like to be able to speak about things as well in these videos that maybe haven't went to plan. We have been having some glorious sunshine towards the end of the month. I think there was a week of just pure rain, which was absolute mince. And then it's just glorious now. It's really, really nice. So I'm going to show you what my favourites have been, and I may put on some of the products if it's makeup and things like that and show you how I've been using them. But let's get started with any kind of shower skincare type of things at the moment. So I did speak about this in my empties. I was in, where was I? Not B&M's. Home Bargains, couldn't remember. I was in Home Bargains with my mum the other day, and they're doing the shower gel that I spoke about in my empties in a big massive size for 90p, I think, 99p, or was it 2 for £2? It was on offer anyway, so I got 2 of these, and it's the Sea Samphire and Watermint one. This is the one that's got a kind of masculine fragrance, and I think you could, I mean, anybody can use it if you want, but it's definitely on the more masculine side, and I feel like Alan can use it, I can use it, we both enjoy it. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's really, really nice. And the bottle that I spoke about in my favourites, I'd obviously used up throughout the kind of month of June, and this is another one that I have purchased. I've got another one in the bathroom as well, because I'm sure they were 2 for £2 or something. But really, really nice fragrance. In my last favourites, the May favourites, I spoke about the Cetaphil moisturiser that I had a mini of from my latest in beauty box. Well, I went and bought the full size. I think this is wonderful. I got the little tube, as I say, in my latest in beauty box. Had used that a couple of times and was really quite blown away by it. That's why it went into my May favourites. But now I can confirm that it is absolutely in the June favourites, and I have been using it throughout the whole month. It says, as I said in the other video, it has this little like barometer type thing. Is that a barometer? I'm wondering now if that's the right word for that, but you know, like a gauge. It has a gauge from light to rich. It says it's in the light column. I'm not entirely sure I would believe that. I find this to be quite nice and thick and moisturising. So if you do have oilier skin, don't be too duped by this saying it's light. I think people with oily skin may find this as a little bit greasy for them. For me personally, having kind of drier skin, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It has SPF 50 as well, and I'm sure even at the £12 mark that is cheaper than the Anthelios from La Roche-Posay. Now, while I was in Superdrug investigating this and looking at this, I seen this from CeraVe. I have seen Pampered Wolf talk about this. I will link Pampered Wolf's channel and Instagram down below because she's very, very good. But I kind of suppose I've just surpassed any of these brands in Superdrug or Boots. I always found Americans to be speaking about this, but I don't know. I think they are a French skincare brand, and I'm absolutely certain this is a French skincare brand. So this is the hydrating cleanser for normal to dry skin. It's fragrance free, it's meant to be very good for your skin. So what I would say about this is, first of all, it's 236 mils, so it is much bigger than the Glossier Milky Jelly Cleanser. Again, I want to say this is around about that £10 mark. I don't think it's as much as 15 or 20, but it could quite possibly be £12 as well. Everything will be linked below. And you get much more product. It's not exactly like Glossier Milky Jelly Cleanser. I don't know if I'll ever find something that's exactly the same as that. But in saying that, the texture of it, the way it looks in your hand when you're putting it on your face, and I feel the way that it works on your skin to clean your skin, just to have a nice fresh face, is very, very good. And very, very comparable to that of the Glossier Milky Jelly Cleanser. So I've been using this just now, and as I said, when was it? Was it my empties one? I'm low on quite a lot of Glossier products, and the Stretch Concealer is one that I just cannot find a dupe for anywhere. So I will order that, and at that point I will decide whether or not I will order Milky Jelly Cleanser again, because this is doing a really good job. It's a little bit less expensive for the amount you get, and you can just pick it up in Superdrug or Boots, so you don't have to go ordering online. I've been really impressed by this. I'm sure when I seen Pampered Wolf talk about this, she was actually saying like, don't pay lots of money for a cleanser, you're going to wash it off your face anyway. Different for cleansing balms and things like that have to take off a makeup, but if it's just for like a washing your face in the morning when you already have a relatively clean face, it's just to make sure you've got a nice fresh face, then things like this do not need to be overly expensive. And I would tend to agree. The reason I just keep going back to Glossier is because I couldn't find something just like it, and I think this does a really good job of being a good dupe. I spoke about this in my May favourites as well. It's the Ordinary Glycolic Toner. As you can see, I've got a little bit further down on it. But that really has been a month's worth of use now, and as you can see, there's quite a lot left. So I am absolutely loving this still. I do not see an overly massive difference from swapping from the Pixie Glow Tonic, even though I absolutely adore the Pixie Glow Tonic, and I'm sure I will repurchase it again at some point. I think if you're looking for a good dupe and maybe something in a slightly cheaper price bracket, then this would be the one. Now, in the haul that I got from The Ordinary, I also picked up this. This is the caffeine solution. It's basically for the kind of contours of your eye. I bought this, the very first order that I got from The Ordinary years ago, I picked this up and I really enjoyed it. There was part of me that thought, is this just placebo? Am I thinking that it's working? Like, it's one of those ones you would probably have to use over a longer period of time to actually decide if it was making any difference. So when I was making my Ordinary order, I thought I'm going to put this back in the basket because I really enjoyed that the last time I used it. And I've used it throughout this whole month, and yeah, I do still really like it. I'm not entirely sure why I didn't pick it up again from the first time I ordered it. It reduces appearance of eye contour pigmentation and of puffiness. I do think it helps with the puffiness, whether that's the actual physical, you know, tapping on the skin that is helping with the puffiness, or using a jade roller with it to get some of that puffiness gone. I do think it really helps with puffiness. When I get up in the morning, I use it before I go to work. I get up in the morning at 5:30 to go to my work, so super puffy in the morning, and I think this is really, really good. It's really affordable, it's very inexpensive for what it is and what it claims to do, so it's not bank breaking, and if you thought this isn't working for me, it's not like you spent £50 on it. I have been using this. Now, this came in my Latest in Beauty box as well, and this is the one that I actually got 2 Latest in Beauty boxes and couldn't figure out why. It is the Saint-Tropez Self Tan Purity. It's like a self-tanning mist, bronzing water type thing. Now, I've seen people talk about this a lot in regards to the body one, but I thought, well, I'll give this a go because it's a face mist, and actually I really like it. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell from the lighting. I don't have a single bit of makeup on my skin at the moment. You can probably tell from my nice couple of friends that I had here, but this is just my natural freckles across here. Any kind of little, this here actually kind of looks like a blemish in the camera. It's not, it's just a big massive freckle. So this is kind of the normal colour that my skin is at the moment, but I have been using this at night. I think since coming back my holiday, it has kept the kind of sun-kissed glow about my face, and I am quite impressed. I don't know like what the full price of it is. I would have to go and check it out, but I thought it was really, really good. If anybody knows of any kind of cheaper alternatives of tanning water, then let me know. Oh, hello. How could I do, oh sorry, how could I do a June favourites and not include you, huh? This is Molly. I had spoke about her in my kind of May video as well, but we had just got her, like literally just got her, and she's settled in fine, absolutely fine. She's glorious, she's lovely, she's a loving little thing. Look at her little pink paws. So this is most definitely one of my June favourites as well. Look at her, she's like, put me down, I hate this. But she's been absolutely fine. So yes, I think this, oh, got cat hair everywhere now. Every time I do it, she's so fluffy. So fluffy, and every time I do it, I'm like, oh, there's cat hair everywhere. Now I'm going to move on to actually putting some products on my face now, so you can see how I've been using the products that I've been loving this month. It's going to be super quick, don't worry, because actually in this kind of weather I go for a much more minimalist look, a much more bare skin look, a much more natural look. And actually if I come in close, like, this is a spot right here, I'm not going to lie about that. This is pigmentation and that is pigmentation. These are 2 marks that I've had for a couple of months and they still look darker, and if I get a tan they actually go a little bit darker than the rest of my face, which is a right pain in the arse, but that's the truth. So here you will see are all of my freckles without actually being covered up. And I like to try and keep that look to my skin, especially in the summer. I think it's a really nice look. I like freckles. I love having freckles. So I have been putting on some faux freckles as well, just to accentuate that. I start off with this every time, even if I am not going to put any foundation or anything on, I will start with the Glow formula. I put the tiniest little dot on my hand and then I just rub it in, a little bit like a primer or a moisturiser, because it does have a kind of hydrating, moisturising effect as well. And as you will see, I think it gives me a little more bronze look as well. I spoke about this in my May favourites as well, and it is still most definitely right up there. I love it. I think it's a very natural looking foundation. I would say it's sheer to medium coverage. It's relatively buildable, but definitely not heavy coverage. It's not full coverage whatsoever. If that is what you're looking for, this is not it. Very hydrating, wonderful, very easy to put on. While saying all of that, I haven't been applying as much because I want to keep my natural skin showing through and my freckles showing through. What I've been doing, because normally I would just put this straight on to my face, but you'll see it will cover. So I've been taking the tiniest bit and kind of spreading it all over my face like a moisturiser again. And it's very, very good in the sense that, you know, sometimes when you put a foundation on, actually it's going to end up, it would be patchy. You would notice where it was and where it wasn't. This blends so well that I don't think you would even notice if you missed a little bit or what have you. Sometimes I'll not even bother with this step. Sometimes I'll just go in with stretch concealer and that will do me. I don't have to like desperately worry about it. But as I say, it's like I would be quite happy just to go with using my fingers and off. But because I've done it so sporadically and sparingly, I've been using a little brush just to make it a little bit more even, to make sure there's no kind of patchy bits, and I feel it lifts off some of the product a little bit and makes it look even more natural. At this point I could possibly go in with a kind of gel bronzer. I used to love the Body Shop one, but they don't do it anymore, so if you wanted you can look in. I don't think the NARS one is as good, if I'm honest, and I know they do the Body Shop one in a pipette now, but it's just not the same. So at the moment I'm kind of in limbo about a gel bronzer. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. I'm just going to come in a little bit closer so you can actually see my skin. So you will see it's evened everything out, which is all fine, but I do feel it's covered quite a lot of freckliness. You can see them peeking through there, that's not so bad, which I will try and accentuate again in just 2 seconds, but just more of a natural, actually looks like your skin type thing. I like that in the summer. I much prefer that in the summer. So from there I've been going in with Hoola from Benefit. It's always been a favourite of mine, and it's pretty much not just a monthly favourite, it's just an overall favourite. I think it does the exact colour that I want it to be. I know it comes in all different colours now as well, so it's much more inclusive, although this is a genuine question and it's because I'm ignorant on it. Bronzers for ladies who are darker skinned, how does that work? I mean, if you were, you know, a lighter, darker skinned person, I can understand, but if you've got really, really dark skin, do you still bronze? That's a genuine question. I'm not trying to be arsey, I'm not trying to be funny. It's a genuine question because I actually don't know. Just something I wondered about. So I've not yet put on any concealer, and the reason for that is I like to put down what my skin, like what I want to be believable as my natural skin, and then I go in with concealer, because I think if you had this lovely glow about your skin anyway, you put concealer over the top and it would be more noticeable, wouldn't it? So generally I do it that way, and most people will be screaming and be like, oh, why are you doing that? You're going to put concealer over the top of the bronzer, etc. Because that's what I fucking do, and that's just the truth. So I take a little bit of my creamy concealer, not creamy concealer, that's NARS, isn't it? Stretch concealer from Glossier under here, and on that bad boy there. I just put a little bit on the places where I think I need some help with pigmentation, but I don't go all out. That's about all I do. And another thing that I've been really loving, I don't know if it would come under May or June. I got them done in May, but I think they probably lasted the duration of June, was the LVL Lash Lift. So I don't obviously have any mascara or anything on just now. I think they still sit relatively nice. They need a little bit of mascara now. They need a little bit of help. But that's been 5 weeks, and I think that it's really, really good. I think wonderful. Okay, so that's all I'll do with concealer. I won't go to town with concealer. I will then take the bronzing brush but not put more bronzer on it. I will just use the excess that's left over and kind of go over these areas. Again, just so that they look super duper natural. Then I go in with the Burt's Bees All Aglow Stick. I spoke about this in May as well. It's still absolutely up there with the favourites I've been using. Now, a lot of the time I'll just go, oh, frog in my throat there. A lot of the time I will just go straight on top. And again, people may be like, oh, you've got powder on your face now, how can you do that? But to be honest with you, it all just blends together. I know maybe some people will be like, I won't fucking do that on my face, it will cake up on my face or something, but I don't know what it is. It works. I don't feel that it becomes cakey or overly obvious. I think with certain stick highlighters that could happen. I don't find it happens with this one. And because I've not put a heck of a lot of layer, like foundation, heavy foundation or concealer on, it doesn't really cause an issue. Nice sweat glow there. What I am going to talk about is fake freckles. Now, lots of people will maybe be like, that's weird, why would you do that? Like, fake freckles, that's so strange, you know, it's really noticeable. The easiest way I find to make it look less noticeable is A, don't use a really, really dark black or brown shadow or powder. You could use the kind of Hoola bronzer, the stuff that you bronze with your face, and then it will look a little bit more in the same tone. Using a brow powder works quite well, and the way that I usually do it is I do not just go straight on my face putting on dots, because it will look really, really obvious and a bit doll-like if like you've drawn freckles on your face. What I do is I use the three kind of fingers, my three middle fingers, and I draw just all different kind of shapes of what natural freckles would look like. So some just single dots, kind of more blurred out dots, because my freckles aren't all single dots. You can see there, they are quite big in places. That one there is more a perfect circle, but my freckles here are very splodgy. Does that make sense? So I make splodges on my finger with the powder, and I will just show you what it looks like before I actually put it on my face. Okay, so you can see I've made my fingers into a bit of a Dalmatian there. And then what I do is I kind of press and roll that onto my face. I will just show you. Then I'll take them just up my forehead a little bit, because the sun would hit me in these places. I don't usually bother putting any on my chin. I do have natural freckles just kind of here, and I keep them as they are. But I'll come in close now and you'll be able to see. So if, for instance, like that's not real, this is, I'll maybe just thingy that out a little bit because I don't want it to look crazy. But you can see here, there's some, they're kind of fakey ones now. Some of that is a mixture. And I will blot it out with my finger as well, because I don't want it to look absolutely mad. But it's a much more natural look to it than if I was just to draw dots on my face. Don't know if you can see it on my head there as well. So it just looks like you're a little bit more sun-kissed. Alright, so I then want to talk to you about brows. Now, anytime I've spoken about brows before, I generally don't do that much to them. I've got quite dark brows. I love boy brow because it's just a really quick and easy sweep through the brow and you leave it at that. But when I'm doing like very minimalistic makeup, I've not been putting a heck of a lot on my eyes. If I do, it'll just be a one colour over the lid. So if I'm doing a very barefaced, you've used about 6 products, but it's barefaced, look to my face, then I kind of like having a slightly more defined brow. But I love them to be big and I love them to be bushy, and if you don't like that, then you're probably not going to like this. Now, I picked up a few brow products over the last few months when I've been finding I want to find that dupe for boy brow, and I want to find something that's going to do something quite similar. The first thing I picked up was the Eyelure Fleur de Force product. Now, I've actually had this for probably 2 months rather than just throughout June. But the clear side I was using for a while through my lashes, because when I've had the LVL I didn't find the use for mascara, but sometimes it just helped give that little bit tidying up. So I was using that there. And the dark side, even though I've got really dark hair, is so dark. So dark and quite messy actually. So I hadn't enjoyed that. Honestly, I probably wouldn't, I wouldn't recommend this. I wouldn't suggest this for people. I found it to be really messy. I think because it has an influencer name on it, it may sell better than it is actually worth. I don't know, maybe people who have lighter brows have found this really good, maybe people who really want that very dark brow, or maybe people who have darker skin than me but still have dark brows find this very useful. But I found it cast shadow. I found that it was really obvious and quite messy. When I was using it through my brow, it would be like little black bits up here, and I was sweeping and then it would be stuff all over my face. I didn't enjoy it. At the same time I picked up the Fleur de Force stuff, I picked up Wonderful Brow from Rimmel, and I got this in medium, which is a slightly lighter one. The reason I picked this up is because the wand is tiny, a little bit like boy brow, and I thought that's going to be really good. But even if I show you this next to my brows, it's much paler than my brows, so actually it didn't work. Maybe if I had lighter brows, then I should have took that into consideration, but the dark one was almost black in the tube, so I didn't want to go for that. But no, it's not boy brow, it's not that easy, and it's also quite messy, so wasn't for me either. The two most recent things that I have kind of been using throughout this month, I've been going through everything. I've been trying to find the perfect stuff for my brows basically. Is the Kiko Precision Eyebrow Pencil. Now this is a tiny pencil. It comes with a sharpener of its own because the nib is so small. Like, I don't think you could put it into a normal pencil sharpener and it would work. It's a very thin pencil. It's like those novelty ones you used to get in gift shops. And then on the other side it has a little kind of, it's not a spoolie, it is actually a little brush at the other side. And I got this in number 2, which I would say is kind of, it is lighter than my hair, but probably a more of a mid-brown to brunette colour. It's not super dark, and I have really been enjoying how small you can get your little hairs drawn on with this. This has been really good. Just show you what I normally do. So I just add in a little bit more definition under here, but it's not so dark that it looks like I've got big black brows all of a sudden. Sometimes I'll put a little bit up here just where there's little gaps, and I think I've mentioned this before in a video. If I haven't, it was maybe a video I made and then never put up. That years ago when I went into MAC and I got an eyebrow product, the girl told me you always want to go 2 shades lighter than your natural brow colour. And I've kind of always stuck to that until recently when I've been like, oh, you know, big brows are in, dark brows are in. But I think I have to go back to that because this is definitely lighter than my hair, but it seems to be doing the job. It seems to be working. And then I just brush that through. And although it's not perfect, like a lot of people like to have that really defined line there, I don't like that. I don't want that. I want it to look as natural as possible, and I like having big kind of fluffy and bushy brows. So that to me is enough. Like, you can just see how a little bit more defined they are, and that's enough for me. I don't feel that I need to have any more definition than that on a day-to-day basis. And even at that, I wouldn't wear this to work. There, and that's the other side done as well. Now, I've picked up from e.l.f. in Deep Brown their kind of Wow Brow, I think it's called, with tiny fibres in it, because I thought this might be a good one that would dupe Glossy Boy Brow. And I am liking it, but it's one of these ones where you have to be careful because it has the colour in it. If they do a clear, I maybe will go and pick up the clear. I like how, look, see, it's just done it there. So I like how full and fluffy it can make them look at the front here. But that one there now looks a bit crazy because it's almost took the product all the way to the end of the brow. If you can see there, it starts to look a little bit crazy if I keep going with it. So I'm on the fence about that one, because now I'm looking at that brow thinking, oh my god. I'm on the fence about that one. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I'll just put it through this side as well now, because seeing as I've done it, I'd rather they looked, not that I'm going anywhere, I'd rather that they looked a little bit more even. Maybe once it dries out a bit, it'll be okay. But I don't know. I just don't think I'm going to find a dupe for Boy Brow or Stretched Concealer, so I might just have to keep ordering them from Glossy. But that's kind of the look I've been going for. And then just lashings and lashings of mascara. And this is a new tube of the Worth the Hype mascara. I spoke about this ages and ages ago in a video about how I absolutely adore the Worth the Hype mascara, because it's almost like Maybelline's Full and Soft from years ago. It's fluffy. It's weird. It says Worth the Hype mascara. You expect it to be a super duper volumizing mascara, but actually I find that it's more subtle and fluffy and natural than it would be false eyelash looking. So that's it on my lashes there. Just on my upper lashes, to be fair, because what I've found I've been doing lately is just taking a tiny smudge of bronzer along the lower lash line, just ever so slightly, to give me a little bit of a definition. But that's pretty much it. Sometimes I'll put like a pale pencil in the waterline as well, just to make my eyes look a little bit brighter and wider if need be. But that's been about it. Sometimes I'll put bronzer in here too, but as you saw when I was putting it on with the brush, I'd kind of just take it all over the place anyway. So moving on to lips from there, it has been either a balm or a particular lipstick. There's not really been any kind of wide array of lip products this month. I have been using Orgasm, the balm, isn't it? Just Orgasm balm. I can't remember what these are called. Afterglow balms from NARS, and it's very straightforward. Like you could put it all over outside the lines and you wouldn't even notice. It's just easy. It doesn't even look like there's too much on my lips, but it's very moisturising. Gives you just a kind of sheer bit of colour there without being too much, and I've been loving that. I got that last year. What's the sale by on it actually? Oh, it's 24 months, it's fine, it's alright. But if it hasn't been a balm, then I have been using this from MAC, and it is their Powder Kiss ones. They're kind of like the matte ones, but they're like a blurred matte. Does that make sense? Like they're not full on colour, they're almost a sheer matte, but there's definitely still colour there. They're not like the glossy ones that are sheer matte and you're like trying to get some colour on your lips. They're definitely there. I have mine in Devoted to Chili. This might look a little red, but it's most definitely more of a brick kind of brown orange, I would say, and I flipping love it. They're so comfortable. They're definitely still matte. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, they're so comfortable, it's like having a balm on your lips, because it's not. It's a matte lipstick. Like they do still have a little tendency to be like a bit drying after a while. What I like about them though is that they have, is it sugar in them? They have something in the ingredients that means they have this taste, this kind of sweet taste to them. And I do find them much more comfortable than MAC's normal matte lipsticks. So that's kind of one swipe on my top and bottom lips, and definitely there is colour there, like you can't say there's not, but also it's one of these ones that you could blur the edges a little bit, so it's that, what do I want to, what am I looking for, like a bit powdery, a bit kind of blurred edges that is, I don't know, it's dead fashiony, isn't it? It's like things you see in magazines which generally you wouldn't wear in day-to-day life, but actually I think it works really well. I've seen Katie Jane Hughes doing that a lot with lipsticks, just smudging round out here to make it look like you've just kind of, I don't know, been kissed, I suppose. And actually, I don't hate it. I kind of like it. And then what I will do is probably put on another layer on the top. So I normally put on 2 layers, but that's because I love the colour. You could just put on 1 and leave it looking really, really kind of sheer and like you just swept on something and this is how good you look, but no. The other thing I would say is that if you had bigger lips than me. Like I've not got particularly large lips. My bottom lip is a lot bigger than my top one. If you had really beautiful full pout, I think this would look gorgeous. I think it will look so under like done and just really cool, and I know that sounds really cheesy, but it's true. I think it would look so good. If I've had any colour on my lips, then it has been this, and I love it. Comes in lots of different colours. This one I particularly think is absolutely stunning though. But I don't really think there's much else, and that's probably it. And I hope you can enjoy doing this walkthrough of how I would do my kind of day-to-day makeup that I've been doing at the moment. It's not overly exciting. I'm really sorry I am not putting up super duper rainbow makeup. I can do that if you want, but I think I'm just trying to cater to the everyday 30-year-old ladies out there who aren't doing Instagram makeup all the time. So just normal everyday stuff, unfortunately, and if that bores you, I'm sorry. Otherwise, go and follow me over on Instagram. I do a lot more over there. And you can follow me on Twitter as well if you like. All the links will be down below in the description box. I did do a giveaway on my empties video, and I'm just letting that run for probably about a week. I think I've got 3 comments at the moment. Woohoo! So if you've commented on that video, then you have definitely got a good chance of winning. So keep your eye out and I will let you know. I think a lot of the people that commented on it though, I don't think they necessarily dropped their like contacts. I'll have to go back and check. So if you did, then please go back on and put your contacts so I can let you know. And it's just going to be a little kind of mystery box thing that I'm going to send you of little beauty bits and skincare and stuff like that. But I thought I would do it because, first of all, a lot of the things that I acquire or get sent and things like that, I won't use, and I would rather they went to a good home. But also just because I like the kind of interaction side of things. So if you haven't seen that video, I will link that below as well, or probably up here in a card, and you can click that and go over. If you fancy a chance to win the giveaway, then just drop a little comment. And I think that's it. I think that's it for now. I'll see you again soon, and I hope you're all having a nice day. Go out and enjoy the sunshine. Don't be stuck in the house like me for the next 4 days. She's doing night shift. Anyway, I'll see you again. Bye.